It's Sarah here from IN Accountancy, and today we're looking at what makes a great credit control process. Now, most people seem to fear credit control. They don't like chasing people for money. But actually, whenever you turn it on its head and do it properly, a great credit control process can be great customer service. So a credit control process shouldn't start whenever a bill is outstanding and you're having to chase it. Because more often than not, a client may not have received the invoice, or they may have an issue that they're just not telling you about that needs to be resolved. So that can delay payment further still. A great credit control process starts the moment you send the invoice or just after the job is done. If you send the invoice and check with them that they've received it and they're happy with the work, then you can also ask when you can anticipate payment. Then some businesses like to send a reminder just before payment's due. Others prefer to send a statement at the due date. Whichever you do, that's okay, as long as you have a process and you follow it consistently. Once a payment falls overdue, it's even more important to be persistent and consistent with your follow-up. So whether that is a phone call, and it should be a phone call rather than an email, but a phone call, a 7-day reminder, a 14-day reminder, and then letting them know when you're needing to move to perhaps take legal action or further action against them. It's also really, really important to remember that one size doesn't fit all. So you'll have various reasons why people don't pay. You may have those consistent bad payers, and they're ones that just need a process and you need to take firm, decisive action with them. But for others, it may be a pure oversight, and once they get the reminder, they'll pay fast, which is great. And you must remember to thank people for payment whenever they do pay. That's something that we often forget to do. We're quick to chase, slow to thank. There may be other clients still who have an issue, so they haven't received the invoice, or they've got a query. For example, they may have a bill for £500 and it's split into 3 things, and for £50 of that they've got a query which is stopping them from paying everything. So it's important to resolve any of these queries quickly. And then the fourth type of late payer actually is somebody who is having financial difficulties and perhaps they can't pay just yet. So again, when you communicate with these people, more often than not, they'll work with you to come up with a payment plan that is acceptable to both of you. And it's much, much better for the supplier to support their customer to make those payments and retain that relationship and help them rather than just chase them and pursue a legal action. As we move into a more digital age, especially in relation to accountancy, there are many, many tools out there that you can use to help automate a process for your credit control. But just do be careful and remember what I've said before, that not all customers are equal in this sense, and that you can automate certain parts of the process, but you've got to humanise the exceptions and you've got to make sure you maintain those relationships, because otherwise you're going to, offend some of those potentially great customers that you've got. So to summarise, my top tips for a great credit control process are, first and foremost, have one. Make sure you've got a process, make sure it's written down and everybody in the organisation understands it. 2 is remember that the process does not start whenever the payment is late. It starts really at point of sale. 3, not all customers are equal, so make sure you adapt the process for each and every type of customer that you might have. 4, lift the phone. Don't rely on emails. Always make sure you lift the phone. 5, be consistent and persistent. Don't be shy to follow up. 6, I may not have mentioned this before, but outsource if it feels uncomfortable. It's not always easy to have the person delivering the service also be the person chasing for the money. And 7, make sure you remember to say thank you. There's so much more you can do, but the most important thing is to decide on a process, make sure you implement it, and continuously evolve that to improve your credit control. I hope that was useful for you, and any questions, as always, please drop me a line. We'll be happy to help. Thank you.